Hey friends.
Woo.
Whoa. All right.
Oh,
I
sorry.
always catch you in funny positions. Okay, welcome back, guys. We are going to be doing number 34 today,
Yes. And
continuing on our books.
Yes, and I still have a cough from.
Well, because it's the same day.
It's the same day for us. So sorry.
she's a little deep and gravelly today.
I do. It's like, I don't know. It's sexy homeschool is what it is. I've told you before I wanted to be the homeschool hotties. The Karen boycotted it quickly.
I'm sorry.
So now you're going to get that today.
I'm too practical.
You're awesome. Okay, I'm starting then.
Okay.
All right, friends, welcome back. We are continuing on with our books that we love.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about books for a little older, 5th through 8th grade-ish range.
Kind of our tweens.
Yeah, tween books. Tweens are a tricky age because they want to be more advanced.
But they don't understand it.
You don't understand it, and you still want to keep them clean. I mean, you always want to keep them clean, but
I'm like, what are you
just
doing
gotta
in
be
high school?
you just want to be extra careful with what they're reading, and so we're gonna tell you some of our favorites for this range of ages.
So I'm gonna start us off this time.
Okay.
And this book is awesome. One of my kids read it on their own, and then we read it as a read aloud as well because they loved it so much. He allowed us to do it twice. So Where the Red Fern Grows. If you're like, I haven't made my kids cry today, and I'd like to make them cry.
It is a sad story.
This is the book, but oh my goodness, it was so beautiful, so beautiful. If you have been living under a rock and you don't know the gist of this story, a little boy, he really wants 2 hounds. And he works his little tail off for a couple of years, right? To earn the money for these hounds. And he gets a boy and a girl, old Dan little Ann and old Dan.
I don't remember.
Okay, it's so
been a while
awesome.
for me.
But it is the most beautiful book. And when my son read it the first time on his own, he sobbed a lot. But he was still in that age, he was now old enough, I don't really cry, but young enough that he does.
Yeah.
And so I remember he was his eyes were all puffy, and I was like, did you finish the book, buddy? No, it was something else. I was like, it's okay to cry, friend. No, that's what I'm not crying about. But when I actually read it, I think my husband happened to be home, and all of us had tears streaming down our face, and I was like, okay, give me a second, friends, but
that's cool.
Can I read Where the Red Fern Grows? It's a beautiful book.
It is a great one. All right, my first recommendation is The City of Ember. And this is a fun one. I'm actually just looking at it on the Amazon page right now, and they're saying that it has over 4 million copies sold, and they're calling it a modern day classic, which I thought was really cool because I feel like there's not a lot of modern day classics anymore. I don't know. It's hard to find modern books that are still considered good classic stuff. But this is a really fun one, and it's one of those sort of dystopian type worlds where the people are they're underground, and it's this society where it's all dark and their lights are starting to dim, and they're trying to figure out how to survive. And this one girl, the main character, finds this ancient message that gives her clues to figure out that she can save the city and also get out of where they are. They don't realize they're underground.
Oh.
And that's just where they live. And so she figures it out and, finds this way out. And it's a really cool story. It's a fun one for kids, and just a good survivalist type story, and being strong and brave and having courage to do a hard thing.
That's awesome. I haven't read that one. Now I keep buying books while we're talking.
Sorry.
Like I said, my magical Amazon account. Okay, this one is my son. I've had just a couple of my boys read it, and then I took it on a vacation because I wanted, I thought it was funny. But I always want to read what my kids are reading as well. But My Side of the Mountain. Fantastic book. It really spoke to my sons. But it's a little boy who, they have a big family, right? And they just live in a small apartment in the city. And he goes, I'm going to go live in the woods. And so he wasn't running away out of malice or I hate my family. He was like, I need adventure. And so he goes and survives in the woods. And his family, they're like, you'll be back tomorrow morning. You'll be so cold, you'll be back. So it's just the whole adventure of him surviving in the woods and with whatever he brought, and learning how to eat and get clean water and some of the animals that he trains to help him. And it's a really fun adventure book.
That is a great one. I just had a thought, and I'm trying to remember the name of this book that Krista had our kids read, and it was about the Berlin Wall. Did your kids read this
I
one?
don't know if they did.
Oh, it was so good, and I'm trying to think of the title. I'll have to think about it next time.
Now I'm wondering if they did. I know
It was
they
so
usually
good. I'm gonna try and find it. But in the meantime, I'm gonna talk about my next one, which is Esperanza Rising, and this is a really cool one. It's a young girl living she lived in a Mexican ranch, but they suddenly have to go and flee to California, and they're settling in a labor camp, a Mexican labor camp. And she has to work hard, and it's during the Depression, and it just kind of changes her whole life, and she has to learn how to do these hard things, and they're financially strapped, and just life changes. And it's about her, becoming strong and becoming brave, and through these hardships. It's a really good book, and one that my kids have enjoyed a lot.
That's awesome. Okay, this one, it could actually be for younger readers, but I feel maybe because of the subject, I put it in for the olders. But it's called Number the Stars.
Yeah.
And it's a World War II book. And so it's just about the little kid trying to escape. And they're Jewish, and it's their story of trying. Now I should have looked it up too. I think they're in Denmark, and they can go over to Sweden. Is that right?
I can't remember. I'm
sorry. I was so prepared with my other ones that So Louis, I'm going to say that wrong, last name wrong. Lowry.
Oh, Lois Lowry.
Lois? Okay.
Yeah, Lois.
This is why I have Karen. Okay, so the Germans have come into Denmark, and they're going to relocate all of them. And it's his best friend. And they're trying to help their friends who are Jewish. So sorry that I didn't have all those details ready for you. They're trying to get them. There's a spot in Denmark where Sweden's really close, and you can actually see it, and they want to help their friends get over there. So it's a good historical fiction type book. Great for kids to understand what could going on. Like, what if somebody showed up today and said, your friend's religion is wrong, and I actually want to hurt them because they believe this way, and would you have the courage to stand up for them, and would you have the courage to help somebody even though that put your own life in danger? So I really liked, and my kids, we all liked that book.
Yeah, that was a good one. Okay, I thought of the book.
Okay.
It's called A Night Divided, and it's by Jennifer Nielsen, who is an amazing author. I've loved all of the books I've read by her, so I'll link to some more of hers. But this one, it's about the rise of the Berlin Wall. So her family, the main character, her family gets divided, and some are on one side of the wall and some are on the other. And she has to figure out how to survive, but they also are trying to find her father and her brother and make it to the other side, to freedom and to get jobs and things like that, because they're on the side. Her mother and brother live on the east side, and her father and brother are on the west side, where they went to get work and can't get back. So it's a really, really touching story, and my children and I both really loved reading this book.
That's awesome.
Good one.
That just put on my list to buy.
Yeah, I love historical fiction.
I think that is my favorite genre as well.
Yeah.
Because I like history, but I don't like being bored.
Yeah.
So it's the best for me. Okay, so the next one is a series, Little House on the Prairie series. And my daughter had read this already, and she was a good sport. When we were looking for a read aloud, I thought, I cannot buy another book this month. Like, my magical Amazon account will someday be frustrated with me. So I was like, what do we have? And I asked, I was like, it was so funny to try to find a book that like none of us had read. And so I go, Tess, are you okay if we do Little House on the Prairie? And she goes, oh, fine, I liked it. So we did the first book, and honestly, it was a little slow in the start.
Yeah, it is a little slow.
But as we're on to the second book, so we're using it as a read aloud right now, but then like I said, Tess has read it on her own, that we've now started doing fun activities of like olden time stuff.
I love
so we've
that.
made candles or made jam, we made bread, just kind of fun stuff like that. But what was super awesome, because I love when our books and studying cross into real life, we went on a road trip and we drove home from Florida and to Utah. And we drove through Kansas, and we weren't we were like, we'd been on the road long enough to make a detour to the Laura Ingalls house, but there has the museum in Kansas. But even though we didn't get to go to her house, we got to see, that's where we are in the second book, is that they are coming to the prairie, they're in Kansas, and I was like, this is what she saw, like as they're describing it in the endless sky, and then there's like little rivers with all the trees.
It looks just like that.
Yeah, and so it made the book come so much more alive than we actually got to experience. Like, we drove across the country in 5 days, and it took them how many days to move from one state to another, right? And so that was really fun. Like, my kids are liking the book more and more, but that one did take some time for us to get kind of eased into it.
They're great. We love those. So this is a fun one that I'm going to say next. It's called The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making. A very long title. And the author is, I don't know how to pronounce her name. It looks like Catherine. It's a weird spelling. Catherine Valente. And it's a cute little fairy tale type story. But it's one that even I enjoyed reading. It's good for kind of older and younger readers. And it's about a little 12-year-old girl who has a very normal life until her dad goes to war and her mom goes to work. And she is met at her kitchen window one day by a green wind, which is a man in a green jacket. But he tells her that he has to come on an adventure and her help is needed in Fairyland. And so she has to go to Fairyland and has to help solve these problems in Fairyland and goes around this place and helps solve the different problems that come up. And it's just a really fun story. And it is the start of a series, which, again, I haven't finished.
Okay.
We've only read the first in the series so far, but really loved it. Really had fun reading this book.
That's cute. Okay, this one was really fun for me to read. I think I read this one only a few years ago. Little Lord Fauntleroy.
Oh, I love this book.
By Frances, Hodgson Burnett. And also the same author of A Little Princess. And so, honestly, it's a little bit like A Little Princess with a boy instead, but still an incredibly beautiful story. So, I don't remember what his actual name is, but it's a kind of a rags to riches story of this little boy who lives in America. And his mother is American, and his father was British, I believe. Yeah, because it goes to an English manor. Yes, and his father had come away to America, and after he passes away, this little boy is now becoming this lord of this manor. And so he has to go over to England, and the grandfather doesn't like the mother because she's American. But the mother's just this beautiful, kind, and never says a bad word about the grandpa, and never says, do you remember the movie, the little boy, the World War II, and the dad never really wanted the little kid to know that they were in a concentration camp?
Is it the striped pajamas? The boy in the striped pajamas?
No, it's actually in French.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Oh, that's gonna drive me crazy.
Oh, is it the one in Italian, The Beautiful
Life?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, the beautiful. It's in Italian.
Oh, I thought it was French. Is it Italian?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's that kind of idea that father didn't want his little boy to really understand he was in a concentration camp, and even as at the end of that movie, like when he knows he's going to die, like he makes it fun for his son. And so to me that's what this mother is doing for her little boy.
Yeah.
And just like, people are good and kind, and I'm going to treat them all as such, even when they actually are not being kind to her.
Yeah.
And it makes this little boy just so angelic and kind and beautiful because his mother's just feeding him full of beauty.
And I love in that story how he loves the grandfather so much and has no idea that the grandfather is like the meanest, nastiest man to every other person he's ever known. But this grandfather has never been loved in that way because he was so nasty.
Yeah.
And so he grows to love and he grows kinder because of this boy and his actions. And I loved that about that story. It's a good one. Are you looking up that movie?
I am. It's driving me crazy now.
All right, I'll go on with my next one, and this is called the Wing Feather Saga, and another series. We apparently really like series.
Yeah.
But the first one in this book, it's called On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness, and these books are so much fun. I really love them. It's this little family who they have to escape, or I'm trying to remember how it all started. I think their house burns down and they have to escape and survive this like evil pursuit. I'm trying to remember the exact details of what happened. I just remember loving it so much.
I haven't read
Okay, here it is. I'm looking at the description so I can tell you guys better.
Okay.
They have a secret legend and secret jewels that they have to protect. And there's this evil man who's trying to catch them, and they have to basically travel across like this whole part of the country and make it away from these evil men trying to catch it from them. And anyway, it's a really cool series. I'm not describing it very well. But we loved them, and it was one of those that you just like cannot wait to read the next book because it leaves you on cliffhangers and you want to keep reading, and they're so much fun. So awesome. They're definitely a must read on our list.
Okay, the movie is called Life is Beautiful.
Life is Beautiful. I was close.
Yeah. So anyways.
La Vita Bella.
It was in Italian.
Bella. Yes.
Called. I don't know. I thought French.
It's okay.
Okay. My next book is Freckles.
Mm-hmm,
and this is by Jean Stratton Porter. And it looks like, they do have some paperbacks, but you can get it free on Kindle.
Yeah.
So that's always awesome.
I loved this book too.
I did too. And then she said Krista in one of our other ones, this actually was recommended from our friend Krista as well. But it's a homeless kid, and he was maimed and abandoned as an infant. He doesn't have a hand. And they just call him Freckles. And they kind of give him this opportunity to help him out in the swamp. They're, what do I keep saying? Lumberjacks, right? And they do stuff with that. And so he's given an opportunity to guard the timber. And he finds happiness when you think that he has every reason to be unhappy. Mm-hmm. He's an orphan, he was abandoned, his hand is missing, and he was maimed, right?
Yeah.
And so he has all these reasons to be happy, but he still finds joy in life. And I think those are the books that really speak to me. So my kids have read this one. All of us have loved it.
Yeah, it's a really good one. My next favorite, and this one I probably could have said in the younger ones. It's kind of a crossover. It's a very short book, but it is one of the most touching stories that made me cry. It's called The 100 Dresses, and it's by Eleanor Estes. And it's a little Polish girl who is living in America in a school in Connecticut, and she's made fun of by all her classmates because she wears the same faded dress every day to school. But then she claims that she has 100 dresses at home. And everyone knows she doesn't, but she gets bullied all the time. And they're just mean to her, terribly mean to her. And one day she's pulled out of school and she's gone. She never comes back. And they decide that they're gonna try and find her and figure out what happened to her. And they go to the house where she lived and discover that she was an amazing artist and had drawn 100 dresses, and they were hanging all around her bedroom. And each one had a picture of some of her friends from school with their faces, and they were dresses that she thought they would look beautiful in. And it was just this really sweet, touching story where it makes you think a lot about how you're treating people and the type of people that they are. And it was really touching.
All right, so my last suggestion, some of these ones have been like more deep or like a good character, like rising above opposition. This one's 100% for fun. It is Anything by Brandon Mull. And we have read Candy Shop Wars, Fable Haven, Dragon Watch, The Beyonders, Five Kingdoms, and my kids love them. And I've actually read all of them as well.
I have too, and they're just tons of fun. My kids love them all too.
Yeah, we did Candy Shop Wars as a read aloud, but everything else has just been us reading about it and then kind of just talking about it. The new Dragon Watch series, it keeps coming out around my birthday. And so Ethan bought me one every year for my birthday.
Oh, that's
so
fun.
right before we left on our trip, he gave me the newest Dragon Watch book. And I was like, sweet. Like now I have a plain book and something for the motorhome. And it was cute because as soon as I finished it, Joshy, he plowed through it. And then Tessa, all three of us finished it on this road trip.
That's fun. We still don't have the new one yet, but
my
kids are asking for it. No, we'll need our own.
Yeah, but I've liked Brandon Mull. There's no sex. There's no swearing. I've heard some people don't like that some of them have fighting.
Yeah, there's
but
a little bit
it's
of
not
fighting
like
in it.
gore, like his guts were splattered across the scene.
You know, Lord of the Rings, how gory those get. It's nothing like that. It's a lot younger, cleaner, and I think they're
because
very
like people die, but it's never like this grotesque.
No.
So my children have all loved Everything by Brandon Mull, and they're just like 100% just for fun books. So I don't actually have them as ever part of our school, but just like these are fun.
And my last selection is similar. 100% for fun.
Yeah.
Great read-alouds, great just for kids to read on their own. But these are the Shannon Hale books. And she's got 2 different series that we love. The Goose Girl, which the series is called The Books of Bayern. The Goose Girl is the first in the series. And they're just so much fun. I really enjoyed reading these, and so did my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
And then the other series is The Princess Academy, and another
They're just fun.
Loads of fun to read. Great for a light read for girls. Boys might like them. They're probably more girly.
I don't think my boys have read them. But
my boys
girls
haven't
only
read The
have.
Princess Academy. I think he's read the Goose Girl series.
Because I think there was a co-op class we had that recommended it.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like those ones as well.
And then you can't like give a list without mentioning Harry Potter, because Harry Potter is just like everyone's favorite. Maybe not yours.
Mine.
We love them at our house. Megan doesn't love them very much at her house, but they're
But I feel like I need to
big-time
explain
favorites.
myself. So tell like why you like them.
tell why
Yeah,
I like
why
them?
you like them, and then I'm gonna tell why I don't like them.
Oh, they're just so much fun, and the fantasy and the magical worlds. We just have a good time with them. I don't know what's not to
Yes.
love.
Well, I feel like the first 4 books are the same.
Oh, okay.
Like Harry and his buddies are gonna get into some mischief, and then they're gonna figure it out, right? Like the storyline is very repetitive. I like a lot of it. Like people, so sorry. Here you go. So they're like, oh, she created all these things, and it's just Latin words. Like Veritaserum is literally Trucerum. Like I don't know. I think it's the like. Everybody loves it, and when everyone's like, "You should love this," I'm like, I don't love it.
It's okay. You don't have to love it.
There's like making out.
There's probably other people that don't love it.
And I don't feel like it's evil. Like I know some people are like,
No,
it's
I don't
witchcraft
feel like
and
it's
evil,
evil.
and I don't feel like it's that. Like it's just a fun story. And I read them all, and my big kids read them all, and we would read them. My husband read a few of them, and he was like, I just read the exact same book.
Oh, that's so funny.
And so he was like, I have no desire to read. I think that might have been like the last fun series he read. He's like, now he just reads informational books.
That's funny.
But like, I just feel like they're the same story over and over, and then they get dark. I remember getting scared in one
They
of
were
them.
a little bit scary at
They're
times.
dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, I don't like dogs, and I don't like Harry Potter, so I hope you can
Dogs?
still be my friend. Like, everybody likes dogs and Harry Potter, and I'm
That's
like...
so funny. We love Harry Potter at our house and have read the series over and over and over. So we can still be friends. Look,
Yeah.
it's okay.
And I've even seen the movies. Do you want to hear a funny story about the movies?
Sure.
So my husband and I went, if you haven't read Harry Potter, stop now, because this is a spoiler alert. So the scene where Dumbledore dies. And
Oh,
he's
real big spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay, I warned you. Like, have you been under a rock? Anyways, so Dumbledore is falling to his death, and if you remember that scene, it's completely silent, like no music, nothing, and the theater was pretty dead, and the gentleman near us farted, like audibly loud farted. So it is this like dramatic scene of Dumbledore dying, and my husband and I are like have busted up laughing, and it was so inappropriate, and we're just like, we're not laughing at the movie. This guy just farted, and so
That's pretty
anyway,
funny.
yeah. So there you go. That's my own 2 cents about Harry Potter. We don't have the books at my house
So way to end this episode with a bang.
with the fart.
Oh yes. That's funny.
That's funny. Yeah, so those are some of the books that we love. Like, we really could, other than
And
Harry
don't
Potter.
love.
I actually thought it would be interesting to do an episode of books we don't love.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Harry Potter would make my list.
That's hilarious.
But now you know that one. So if that's an episode, you guys are like, what books do you not love? Or like books you've read, you're like, throw this away, this was trash. So maybe we'll do that. If you guys want that, let us know. And be ready for an earful from me.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in again. We love having you listen. And just one more plea and request for reviews. If you're listening and
yeah.
you love us, give us a review on Amazon, not
That's
Amazon.
funny. We're not
On,
Amazon. Current
what's
Amazon.
that thing called? iTunes. That's
Yes.
the one. Give us a review on iTunes so that it can kind of help us creep up in the rankings a bit so others can find us.
Yeah, and we've slowly been growing, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
And people are sharing it, and we love you guys.
We do.
Next week, we are going to be talking about books for high schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm excited. Hopefully by then, my voice will be all the way back, and I won't be coughing throughout the episode.
It
so,
should be.
All
All right.
Can hope.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.